What's going on, guys? It's Sensei Adam, and welcome back to another Brawl Stars video. So we've had about a week to get accustomed to the new update, and although we didn't have any new balance changes, we did have some of those mechanical changes, like the new landscape mode, the new shooting mechanics, the auto aim or aimbot as I like to call it. So yeah, those things really affected the brawlers, even though we only had two changes, which was a primo nerf and a little Pam buff. So how do those changes affect every single brawler in the game? That's what we're about to find out right now. And if you do enjoy the video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more daily Brawl Stars content. Starting off the rankings, we go on the F tier. Now, before, on all of my previous tier lists, I've never ever had any F tier, because I always thought every single brawler was useful in their own way, and they always had any type of use, even if it was just in one map. But now, I have four brawlers that I think are worthy of being on the F tier, which basically means they're almost useless. Coming in at number 19 and 18, we have Dynamike and Barley, both of which are throwers. So, the new joystick, it's good for some brawlers, as you guys are gonna see, but it really makes other brawlers struggle. And that's what I don't like about that mechanic, because it just makes some brawlers like a lot better than others, just because of how you actually play the game. Before the update, both throwers were already really high skill cap brawlers. Basically, you had to tap exactly where you wanted to throw to try and either lure them to a certain place or try and trap them. But now with the new joystick, it's kind of really hard to tap exactly where you want to toss your dynamike sticks or the little bottles. So that makes it really tough for you to actually hit your enemies reliably. So I would consider these two, just because of the current joystick mechanic, to be the two worst brawlers in the game. And then you're also going to find them struggling to hit people if they're right next to them, because you can't really throw your dynamike sticks or your bottle right at the floor, because if you do, it's just going to cancel your attack. Because if you put the attack joystick in the middle, it just cancels it. So yeah, they really struggle if they have a tank right on their tail. And since currently we're having a really big tank meta, yeah, they're not really going to succeed too much. Coming in at number 17, we have Piper. Now before the update, Piper was already a brawler that struggled a lot, especially in Bounty, which was a primary game mode that everybody plays her in. She was already struggling to counter a very popular choice, which was Mortis. But now they even put a bigger challenge in front of her, which is now you can only see about half her range, which really sucks, because since most of the map is vertical and not horizontal, you can't see her full range when you aim down like the horizontal line. But vertically, where most enemies like that you're trying to shoot are gonna be at, you're gonna kind of struggle trying to get that max damage off. And since it is a tank meta, like I just said before, you're not gonna do too much damage to those tanks just rushing right at you. Another thing that makes Piper struggle is the new attack joystick, because with her, you used to have to be precisely accurate on exactly where you want to shoot at, so you can like predict their movements. But now, even if you know exactly where you want to shoot, the attack joystick makes it really hard for you to get that exact precision, because if you just move it a tiny little bit, since the range is really far away, like it's gonna move a lot compared to like short range brawlers where they don't really have to be too precise. So that's another thing Piper really struggles in right now. In at number 16, and the last brawler on the F tier, is Mortis. Now, the reason why Mortis became so bad so quickly isn't his fault. It's because of one thing, just one thing. The auto aim, or aimbot as I like to call it. Basically, he really struggles against Shelley, Bull, Primo, or anybody that has like that like a cone-shaped attack. If he tries to go near them, they can just tap the button, and the ball is automatically gonna shoot Mortis down. There's no way to juke. Before, you could just go ahead and swipe in different directions so you can make your movements unpredictable. But now it really doesn't matter, since if they just click, it's gonna register where you are right now. So there's no way for you to dodge any shots. If you go against a Bull, a Primo, a Shelley, any short range brawler of that manner that just utilizes the aimbot, he's really gonna struggle. You're gonna find yourself not even getting any hits off, or you're gonna get close to them and then they're just gonna one tap you and you're gonna struggle a lot. Now we move on to the C tier. Now I only have one entry here, but these are brawlers that I think are bad but are still usable in some ways. And the only brawler I have here is Brock. Now Brock struggles from the same things that Piper does, just because of the new landscape mode. You can only see about half his range vertically, which is where you're gonna want to shoot most of your attacks. So yeah, he struggles in that manner. He also struggles from the new aim stick, which basically, like I said with Piper, if you just move it a tiny little bit, the range just whoop, like you're gonna miss your target completely. And also, you cannot really effectively utilize the aimbot with Brock or Piper for that matter, because if you do click it and you're trying to hit somebody at long range, they're basically already gonna be out of there. It's just gonna like shoot where they were 3 seconds ago, so it's not really that useful. The only upside about Brock is even if somebody's right next to you, he still does the same amount of damage. So unlike Piper, if somebody gets right next to you, she does no damage at all, he can still put up some kind of a fight. Now we go ahead and move on to the C tier. These are brawlers I think are still kind of decent on one single game mode, but like they're probably not great if you try to use them in multiple game modes. And at number 14 is Colt. Now Colt, he is still a really good brawler that you can use in Heist, but in other game modes, because of the new attack joystick, like I've been mentioning before, he kind of struggles to hit people at long range. I know it's not as hard as somebody like Brock, whose range is a lot longer, but he still kind of struggles as well. The one thing he does have going for him is if somebody is right next to you, you can use the aimbot to your advantage. So if you have a tank right next to you, you can just keep spamming that tap button, and he does do a lot of damage, and it does kind of help him out a little bit. At number 13 is Jessie. Now she's still really good at a game mode like Smash and Grab, where her turret just puts up a lot of pressure around the gem mine and doesn't even let people get near it. Especially if you have that star power, you can just go ahead and spam the turret and not even let them get close. But here's the problem with her star power and the current mechanic, which is aiding a lot of other brawlers, but not Jessie. Currently, if you try and use the aimbot on your own turret, it's not going to work out. Even if the turret is like at half HP or losing any type of HP, if you click the auto aim, it's not going to register. It's not going to work with your turret. So if they're planning on keeping auto aim, please don't keep auto aim. Don't do it. But if they are planning to keep it, they probably need to go ahead and just fix this and allow Jessie to click the auto aim on it. And that's probably going to like jump Jessie way up, probably to the B tier, even the A tier, because just auto aiming to that turret, that's going to be godly. And last, at number 12 on the C tier is Rico. Now I have to say Rico's still a pretty decent choice in bounty, especially on some maps like Outlaw Camp, Temple Ruins, which was the map that we had today. He's still a pretty good option, even on some Smash and Grab maps. The only thing is that because he does have a long range, just like Brock and Piper, it's kind of hard to hit people extremely far. The one thing it does have going for him though is that you don't actually have to be 100% precise. Since his shots do bounce off walls, like you can be a little bit off and they spread out a little bit, so it's still kind of easy to hit them even though it has a giant spread with the tiny little attack joystick. And now we go ahead and move on to the B tier. And I have to say I kind of had a little bit of a hard time organizing these 4 brawlers in an exact order, so just kind of clump them all together as being like equally good. So at number 11 we have Bo. Now Bo is a brawler that you've been seeing a lot in games. His usage rate has skyrocketed since the update. That's because of the landscape mode. He can now just go ahead and see a lot further. So to his left and right, he can see all over, especially with his vision if you have the star power, so it's really tough for your opponents to hide. And his attack is short enough that you can see throughout the entire screen. The only bad thing is that it's still kind of hard to aim with the little attack joystick, but I won't say that's a really bad thing because his attack does spread out over like 3 ticks, so it's not really a bad thing unless you're trying to be extremely precise. But that's really not what Bo's for, because you really need a star power for him to be useful. And if you do have a star power, he's a great character at just doing all that chip damage, and now he can do it to the left and to the right as well, so there's nowhere for your opponents to hide. And at number 10 we have Nita. Now Nita is like one of the few brawlers I would say after the update her playstyle didn't change too much. You want to go ahead and play her in Smash and Grab, she's still probably one of the best options, especially as an aggro brawler. Even against the current tank meta, you can keep your distance and even with the attack joystick, which is highly inaccurate, her range is wide enough that you don't have to worry about it, unless it's like at the very edge of your range where you do have to be extremely accurate. But other than that, she's still kind of the same brawler. I did bring her down from the last time. I have her on the A tier, but now I put her on the B tier because so many other brawlers that were below her went up. So I had to like put her somewhere since she's not really that useful on other game modes. You can't play her in Brawl Ball, but I would just say stick to Smash and Grab because she just absolutely dominates that game mode. Moving on to number 9, we have Spike. Now Spike did take a little hit with the new attack joystick and the super, because with this super it's kind of a little bit inaccurate, and if you try and throw it straight down at your feet, just like the throwers, you can't really do that, so you have to throw it out a little bit. So if you do have a star power and you're trying to heal yourself, you're gonna have to throw a little bit out, then walk in that direction. But the thing that Spike is really striving in this current meta is it's the tank meta. You're seeing a lot of tanks, and you know Spike is a tank shredder. He absolutely destroys them, and it just takes 3 or 4 hits, I don't remember, to get his super. So if you do get his super, you can just throw it at the tank. They're not going to be able to move. Throw all of your little spikes at him and then load up another super. It's that easy. And to close off the B tier is Tara. Now Tara, I was kind of struggling where to put her because is Spike or Nita better than her? I'm not too sure, but in the end I just decided that I think she's better than those two because of her super and attack combo. Basically, you can just go ahead and use your super, and then once they're in the super, just use the aimbot as fast as you can to get all of the people that are trapped in your super. And then you're gonna just get another super in return for doing almost nothing. So yeah, in my opinion, Tara's another brawler that really benefits from the newly added aimbot feature, which basically you just tap to attack, and if somebody's near her, it's almost impossible to miss. You're gonna hit all 3 cards and do a ton of damage to them. And now we go ahead and move on to the A tier. These are brawlers that I think are not only good, but great in 2 or more game modes throughout the game. So, at number 7, and it's probably going to shock a lot of you guys, is Pam. Now I know what you're thinking. How is Pam this good? She only received like a 20 damage buff, which isn't too much. Well, all I have to say is shooting mechanics and aimbot. There's a few reasons why Pam is really strong in the current meta. First, both of her counters, Barley and Dynamike, who could have easily destroyed her turret before, are barely played in her primary game modes, which is Smash and Grab and Bounty. Second, because of the new landscape mode, her range can see almost the entire map in landscape mode. So it's really easy if somebody's trying to sneak up on you, you can shoot them from very, very far away and they're not going to be able to do anything about it. And if they're trying to run away, you can just keep following them, keep doing that chip damage. And if you do like a good combo that a lot of people have been doing, which is Pam and then a tank, they're going to go ahead and struggle to keep their health up, and then the tank's just going to go and roll up, use the auto attack, and absolutely wreck them. It's really fun to use. Moving on to number 6, we have another healer, which is Poco. Now, of course, Poco is going to benefit from the new aimbot feature because his attack is basically a huge open cone shape. So it's kind of hard to miss. If you just tap it, there's no way they're going to be able to dodge it. So yeah, he really benefits from that auto aim. Secondly, because of the landscape, just like Pam, he can also now just check the sides. So it's hard to sneak up on him. If people are trying to sneak up on you from your right or your left, you're easily going to be able to see them, and you can just back away, use your huge attack to cause damage, leave them weak, and then let your tank just clean up. It's really easy. He's still right now the best gem carrier for Smash and Grab, and he's also an amazing addition in Brawl Ball, but now you're seeing him a lot as well in Bounty in a combination with a tank where basically you try and spawn trap and then your tank just goes in and cleans up everybody. And last but not least, on the A tier, we have Crow. Now, I have to say, I'm really liking Crow in the current meta because in my opinion, he's like the only non-tank that's actually good against tanks, because he can just keep attacking them, keep poisoning them as they try and come near you. So it's kind of hard for the tanks to show up next to you guys while having full HP. Most of the time, Crow's gonna like keep them at bay and not let your team get spawn trapped. So if you're trying to run some like obscure combo with Barley or any other brawler for that matter, like Brock or Piper, that isn't good in the current meta, I would highly suggest you guys bring a Crow along with you guys, so you can actually avoid those tanks and keep them at bay for the most part. So now guys, the moment you've been waiting for, the S tier, the brawlers that are extremely overpowered in the current meta. And now we have 4 entries in this section. I think this is the most I've had for a general brawler rankings ever. I think the most I've ever had is 2. So yeah, you can tell it's an unbalanced meta when you have a lot of brawlers that are really good and a lot of brawlers that are really bad. So at number 4 is El Primo. Now the reason why I don't have El Primo a little bit higher, which I think some people might say he's like 3rd place or so, is because his attacks with the aimbot, it's not as accurate as somebody like Bull or Darrl. Where basically, like, if you do hit auto attack, it takes like 1 second for your attack to fully go. So the enemy does still have a little bit of time in order to dodge. But I'm not saying it's completely ineffective, but it's not as good as like some of the other tanks. But I do have to say, it's still pretty dang strong. Another thing that also kind of brings him down is because of his super. It's used the same way as Barley and Dynamike super, which is kind of hard to use, but I wouldn't consider that a really big deal because you use it mostly for positioning rather than actually doing your regular attacks with it. But overall, Primo's still an extremely strong choice with the highest HP in the game, and with that auto attack still helps him out a ton. If you get close to somebody, they're basically already KO'd. They have no shot. And now we've reached the top 3, which I kind of like to call the broken shotgun trio. So at number 3 is Shelley. And it's no surprise that with the new aimbot, it's kind of hard to play Shelley seriously. All you have to do is get close to somebody, spam that auto attack, not even like care about where you're aiming at, not have any skill, just boom, 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 and they're dead. There's nothing they can do about it. Shelley's kind of like one of those brawlers, when I first played, like I just saw, wow, the aimbot is completely broken. Because like, if somebody's close to you, there's no way to dodge. Basically, if you're playing Shelley, don't even try and aim. If you get close to somebody, just hit the aimbot and let the game do the work for you. But right now, Shelley's really good in a game mode like Brawl Ball. She's also great in Bounty, in those maps that have a lot of grass where you can just sneak up on people. And also a really good choice in the new Smash and Grab map, Sapphire Plains, where there's a bunch of grass anyways. At number 2, and probably a brawler that you guys have been seeing almost everywhere in every single game mode, is darrl. And it's no surprise that almost every single team comp nowadays needs a tank, because they do so much damage up close. And in combination with the aimbot, it's almost impossible to survive against them if they're at close range. There's no way you're going to be able to escape them. If you use a brawler like Mortis, he's going to be dead because you're always going to have on your mind that tank. Does he have any attacks at all? If he does, he's going to auto attack and you're going to be screwed. Currently, I would just go ahead and say that he can be played in almost every single map, in almost every single game mode in the game. Especially in Bounty, in combination with somebody else that's good at spawn trapping, like a Poco or a Pam. And then you're going to have yourself a dream team. You're not going to lose almost any time. And in at number 1, and the current reigning king of Brawl Stars, just has to be Bull. I don't think there's any argument for any other brawler to be all the way at the top. Because with the current meta, he thrives with the aimbot. If somebody gets up close to you, if you have a max Bull with one shot, he does 3,000 damage. That basically takes away 90% of the health of somebody like Piper or Barley. Yeah, that's crazy. And unlike before, if he did get close to you, you did have a way to try and escape. You could just keep moving your finger from side to side, hope he shoots in a wrong direction, but now you can't really do that. You just tap the button, and then the AI precisely hits exactly where your opponent is at. So there's no way for them to escape. It's basically just GG at that point. And then another good tactic that people have been doing lately is, since the game is horizontal now, Bull's super is kind of a lot more useful now, because people like aren't really good at looking towards their sides. So Bull a lot of the time just sneaks in with the super across the map to get close enough to somebody, and they're probably not gonna shoot him along the way because they're gonna be too focused down the line. And once he does get close, he's just gonna smack you with that auto attack. There's no way for you to react. But anyways guys, these are just my opinions, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. Just leave your opinions down in the comment section below. I always take my time to read all of your guys' comments, and I love your feedback as well. What do you guys think of the rankings? And if you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more daily Brawl Stars content. And as always guys, I'll see you next time. Peace.